from Volition is Cameron Reynolds. Cameron, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. How are you?
Very good, Cameron. Good to have you back here. A Q2 earnings and business update. Give us a bit of an overview as to how things have been for Volition in the second quarter.
Yes, it's been a fantastic, extremely busy second quarter. I think the team has done an amazing job during the pandemic, focusing on what we can do, as well as keeping it together, all the research, all the product launches. And I think we've been very strong financially. We ended with $27.9 million in the bank compared to 19.4 at the end of last year. So I kept the burn rate very steady and really sharpened everything so we can launch a range of products. I'm really happy with how our ever-growing team has gone.
And so as far as some of the business updates here, you say you've been adding to both your patent portfolio and your list of abstracts and clinical papers in the period.
Yes, now we're really happy with the platform. The team's now publishing a lot of different abstracts, publications with very good collaborators. We had a bunch this last quarter, including 2 abstracts on NETosis, which went to ISTH, which showed fantastic progress. It's becoming everything we really wanted to be from the NETosis side. A range of vet papers have been published or about to be published, showing the great efficacy of our products. Yeah, it's been a great, and patent-wise, we've always had a strong portfolio and it's growing all the time. And there's a new wave of innovation on the NETosis side. So actually Jake's been very busy yet again, writing a range of other patents as well. So we're layering in a lot of different layers of intellectual property, which really should help protect us as we launch the products that we are now launching.
As far as the 4 pillars, firstly, new QNets, how are things progressing there?
It's been excellent. So during the pandemic, we've been working on the different ways we can use our current Nu.Q platform to measure nets, which is measures NETosis, which is what kills you in a very, very wide range, or is a very strong contributor to a very wide range of diseases. Things as varied as influenza, sepsis, COVID, heart attacks, strokes, even things like Alzheimer's. So it's huge. We've sent our kits to a range of different very good world-class collaborators. They're now starting publishing. It has been a lot of work to get all this to the situation we're in, which the team has done during the pandemic. And now the focus is very clear. We are working to get these as products. Very exciting data, looks very clinically useful. So we have a range of things we're working on in the US and in Europe and a little bit in Asia, so that we can turn this into what could be some extremely exciting products. And I think the team thinks this could be the biggest thing we do. And I know human and the vet side in the cancers is obviously potentially a massive market, but NETosis is a really key part of so many different diseases. And I think we have something very special in this area as well. So very exciting.
Well, tell us a bit more, Cameron, about some of this new data which you've put out this quarter.
Yes, so we worked with the 2 best hospitals in London, and it showed our assays could monitor disease progression and also correlate with mortality and also with disease severity. So not only, as you've seen from the previous data, it tracks the progression of the disease very well. Obviously, if you're going to be trying to treat NETosis, which kills so many people, you need to know you have it. So the primary diagnostic, which we can definitely help with. And now we're in small studies, we're now working on big studies. It can also be predictive and also correlate with how you're going. So potentially extremely useful. And I think it's something, if we can launch a product and it works as well as it has so far, it's something which I think an awful lot of people will take as a normal course in hospitals, because if your NETs level is rising, something very bad is happening. It can be a range of different things, but it's extremely good to know. And things like sepsis, the reason it kills you is 2 things. It happens really often without a lot of warning, and there aren't very many treatments. And I think we can help with both, because without a good diagnostic or prognostic, it's very difficult to treat. So extremely exciting. Anyone who's scientifically minded, please read the posters. They're on our website. Very, very interesting and really exciting times.
How's progress been as far as Nu.Q Vet? What's the latest here?
That's probably been the busiest, certainly from the product side. As you know, we've strengthened the bench in a lot of ways in the company this year. One of the great ones we've done is taking on a world-class vet and very well known in the vet space corporately. He joined us, Tom Butera from Mars, the Mars Group, which is the biggest pet company in the world. and he's been tremendously helpful in helping us launch the first products. So I think there's two real pushes on the vet side. Number one, we did the beta launch, which has gone very well, which was to teach us all the things we need to know about the products and launching. Last call, we're looking more to launch our own products, but since then, we've had a tremendous amount of interest from some very, very large vet companies, the very largest, and Tom is working very hard to work on a large distribution licensing agreement with a few of the major players, and we're very hopeful that will be consummated this year, so we can really, and that would help us to really kickstart the product. I mean, it's a fantastic product, and it's very understandable they're interested. It works great, it's low cost, there's nothing else out there, it's a huge addressable market. So we're certainly in the millions of tests per year, which means potentially hundreds of millions of revenue per year. So even for a big company, that helps to move the needle, if you will. And the other big push we're doing in the vet space is broadening it out. These are the first cancers. We're also in the process of publishing a paper showing how it works in the top seven of the top cancers in the vet space, and also on monitoring the disease and treatment. So we are expecting to have some great new data coming up soon, and we're publishing more and more in the vet space, and really go for a big international launch with a major player. We're hoping to sign this year in the vet space. So very, very active in a lot of different areas. And it's so because of all that, we've made a new team in the vet space, which is doing nothing but all of this. That's how we can do so many different things.
And so you say that beta launch, that exceeded expectations, did it?
I think it met expectations. So what we wanted to do was to give us all the learnings to attract the big players, which it certainly has done in spades, and also prove that we could launch a product, prove that there was a demand. We have not hired salespeople nor given a lot of push ourselves, because it has done what we wanted to do. Things like shipping and packaging, all that kind of stuff. Not the product itself, that's worked remarkably well, but all the various things to either launch our own product or license. But given the strong interest, I think licensing is most likely in the short term to really bring in the revenue.
I suppose just away from vet, given the pandemic, a number of your studies would have been affected due to difficult collection and enrollment circumstances. Yeah, have they?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that's why we have a lot of irons in the fire and we can pivot. But actually some good news this quarter. It's always mixed during the pandemic. Some things speed up, some things slow down. On the good news side, EDRN, our large colorectal study in the US, has just begun collection again and expects to be up to full speed by September. The US seems to be sort of coming out of the pandemic more than other places. In the US, our blood cancer studies have actually been impacted now. So we've updated timelines for that in the queue. On the plus side, Asia has actually weathered quite well. So our Taiwanese studies have progressed extremely well. The two very large colorectal and lung studies have now finished collection. I'm very happy to announce. And they're now going through the clinical data, matching that with the samples, and we'll do analysis over the rest of the year. And on our new policy, we'll be publishing them at the first available conferences next year. So that's been extremely good. And we're also licensing discussions with a very large player in China to launch our first human cancer products in China as well. So again, a lot going on in the space. We're very keen on our lung and colorectal side as well as the blood cancers, and that's progressing, although it has been, as you said, getting people to come into hospital repeatedly during a pandemic can be problematic, and the doctors are obviously quite busy, but it certainly seems to be picking up now. So hopefully, unless things change again on the pandemic, we're back on track on all the big ones.
I remember the last time you and I spoke, Cameron, we talked about this new program, Nu.Q Discover. How are things here?
Yes, so Andrew, we've launched in our new facility, Silver One, which has provided us an amazing new facility for our own production. All of our licensing deals worldwide, we're not just saying to you, here's our IP, help yourself. We're providing all the key components for two reasons. We provide very good ones, and so we want to keep quality and consistency, but also it helps us to keep a bit of control in licensing. Often in licensing, you really have no idea what the people are doing or how much they're selling, or so that's gone very well. Also, on the positive side, we've set up a service lab there So if you are an institution or a company or a researcher in epigenetics, and there's a lot of action in this space, and you want to profile nucleosomes, we can do that for you. So we've had a lot of interest. We've sent out a range of quotes now. So we'd expect the first serious revenue this year and growing through next year. And these are the sort of things you start with a small number of samples. If that works, if it becomes part of a product, it can snowball into a large amount of revenue and a large amount of areas you work in. It also helps us to keep an eye on the space. Obviously, if people are sending us samples, we get an idea of what's going on with different people in different groups. So that Silver One facility, which has been a tremendous addition to what we do, again, open during the pandemic, helps us in a lot of areas and really shows our focus now on revenue from a range of different areas and different targets.
Well, Cameron, just before you leave us this morning, just looking ahead to the remainder of 2021, remind us of those upcoming milestones, what you're working towards.
So in the vet space, expect to see the first deal signed, we expect to, and that should be a very large transformational moment for the company, not only the revenue, the validation of the platform, also more data in the vet space into more cancers and disease progression, very exciting. On the new QNets side, more data and really sharpening the outline for the first products, which we expect could be really large, as we have done in the vet space. And we broadened the bench on the Nets team to really start to do that as we did in the vet team. I expect to see more data on the human side, as we've talked about in the trials, the colorectal, the lung, the blood. And I think overall, it's just been a fantastic year. We've kept the company liquid with capital. We've spent it very wisely. We've worked in a wide range of areas. And now we're really the business end of launching our products. And it's quite a transformation, changing from research to products and keeping both going. But so far, I think we've done it very well. And I think it should be a really exciting year around Volition in the next end of this year and all the way through next.
Appreciate the update. Cameron, thanks very much.
Thank you, and thanks for your time, everyone.